I love my daughter very much. I find her to be the most beautiful thing I have ever seen.
A machine program says this to Neo in a subway station in Revolutions. Neo is blind. He cannot see who he's talking to. He can only listen. And in this conversation, 6 minutes long, mostly forgotten by the fandom, a program explains the exact idea that ends the war 3 scenes later. Neo doesn't catch it, not yet. He only understands what this program taught him when he's dying inside the machine city, offering the same answer he gives right here, in this exact conversation, without realizing what he's saying yet. This is the peace treaty before the peace treaty. Here's what he missed. Why is Neo sitting in this station? Neo and Trinity are trapped at Mobil Avenue, a train station that exists between the machine world and the Matrix. It is not the real world. It is not the simulation. It is the seam between them, a waiting room for programs and people who have nowhere else to go. The trainman runs it, and he answers to one authority.
You're gonna stay right here until the Merovingian says different.
The Merovingian, the oldest program in the simulation, the one who has survived 5 complete resets of the entire war, now controlling the one checkpoint standing between Neo and the Oracle. Even here, in a scene most people remember only for being slow, the Merovingian's fingerprints are on the door. Neo's eyes were burned out at the end of Reloaded. He is fully blind. He cannot read a face. He cannot see code. He cannot do the one thing every other scene in this trilogy has trained you to expect from him. Look at the truth and understand it instantly. Every previous revelation in the trilogy has arrived through sight. The green code cascading down a wall, Seraph's golden glow, Sati's drawings, the spoon bending in the Oracle's waiting room. This time, Neo gets none of that. He can only listen, and what he's about to hear matters more than anything he could have seen.
I love my daughter very much. I find her to be the most beautiful thing I have ever seen.
Now, here's the confession. Rama-Kandra says this unprompted, sitting beside a man he's never met in a station built for waiting. Neo's response is immediate and defensive.
Your programs.
Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way.
Neo's assumption is simple. Love and program cancel each other out. A machine cannot have a daughter. A machine cannot love anything. Rama-Kandra doesn't argue the point. He already knows exactly where Neo's logic breaks down, and he's patient enough to let Neo find the crack himself.
Every program that is created must have a purpose. If it does not, it is deleted. I went to the Frenchman to save my daughter. You do not understand.
Sati shouldn't exist, but she does. That's the real glitch in the Matrix. Sati exists without an assigned function. She was born from 2 programs who were never designed to create anything outside their designated purpose. Rama-Kandra manages reincarnation protocols inside the Matrix. His wife Kamala designs feeling and memory architecture for the minds that get reborn. Neither of them was supposed to be capable of producing a 3rd program. They did anyway, and the system's response to a program with no function is simple: deletion. Rama-Kandra and Kamala are trying to smuggle their daughter past that deletion order. The only authority in the Matrix with the standing to grant an exception is the Oracle. That's why Rama-Kandra is talking to a blind man on a bench in a train station nobody important visits. Neo can reach her. What happens to Sati afterward is the part most viewers forget entirely. The Oracle takes her in. Seraph, the program built explicitly to protect the Oracle, extends that protection to a child with no function and no claim to safety under any rule the system recognizes. By the end of Revolutions, when the machines finally lift the perpetual gray overcast above the Matrix and the sky turns gold for the first time in the trilogy, it is Sati who paints it. She gives the sunrise to Neo as a gift, because Neo is the reason her father found someone willing to listen. A program with no purpose became the only being in the Matrix capable of creating something nobody asked for and nobody could delete. Beauty, given freely, for no operational reason at all. There is one line that reframes the entire war. Neo asks the obvious question: how does a program have a child?
Heard a program speak of love. It is a human emotion.
Then, the sentence the entire trilogy has been building toward without ever saying it directly.
No, it is a word. What matters is the connection the word implies.
Stop here. Rama-Kandra just stripped the emotion out of the word and kept only the function. Love isn't a feeling that proves something is alive. Love is a description of a bond strong enough that two things refuse to be separated. That definition applies to humans. It applies to programs. It applies to anything capable of forming a connection, which means the line the entire war was fought over, the line between human and machine, was never actually about love. It was about who got to claim the word. This single sentence dismantles a hierarchy 3 films and 1 war have been built on. If connection is the only thing that matters, and connection is observable on both sides of the human-machine divide, then the divide itself was always artificial. Humans assumed love made them superior to machines. Rama-Kandra just demonstrated that love was never a uniquely human trait. It was a structural feature available to anything complex enough to form an attachment it refuses to abandon.
I see that you are in love. Can you tell me what you would give to hold on to that connection?
Anything.
But there's one question Neo doesn't see coming. One word, immediate, no hesitation. Neo answers before he has time to consider what he's committing to, which is exactly how you know it's true.
Then perhaps the reason you are here is not so different than the reason I am here.
Rama-Kandra just told Neo they are the same. A machine trying to save his daughter from deletion and the so-called one trying to save Trinity from death are running the identical operation, using whatever leverage they have to protect a connection the system was never built to accommodate. Neo doesn't argue. He has nothing to argue with. The logic holds completely. The architect described Neo's 5 predecessors in Reloaded with a specific phrase.
Contingent affirmation that was meant to create a profound attachment to the rest of your species.
Their love was general, engineered, abstract, designed to bind each one to humanity as a category. It worked exactly as intended for 5 cycles. Then, the architect describes what happened with Neo.
While the others experienced this in a very general way, your experience is far more specific, vis-a-vis love.
One person, not a species. The architect calls this the anomaly within the anomaly, a deviation so precise that it broke a system built to survive deviation. Neo's love for Trinity wasn't a bug the machines failed to notice. It was a bug they failed to imagine, because no machine had ever modeled what happens when attachment narrows from a population down to a single, irreplaceable person. Sati is the mirror image of that exact flaw, built on the machine side instead of the human side. She wasn't designed. She wasn't assigned a function. She is what happens when 2 programs form a connection deep enough to produce something the system never accounted for. Neo is an anomaly, born from a flaw in the code that builds humans into the Matrix. Sati is an anomaly born from a connection between 2 programs who weren't supposed to be capable of forming one at all. Different sides of the war, identical structural accident. The system has no defense against love because love was never in its blueprint, for humans or for machines. If Rama-Kandra's love is real, then what does a program built to fake it looks like? Compare Rama-Kandra and Kamala against Persephone, a program literally built to embody love and explicitly incapable of experiencing it as anything but transaction.
I'll give you what you want, but you have to give me something. A kiss.
She extracts this from Neo before agreeing to lead his crew to the Keymaker. Then, watching Neo kiss her the way he would kiss Trinity, she says the line that gives away everything.
I envy you, but such a thing is not meant to last.
Persephone was engineered for the specific purpose of producing the appearance of love, desire, jealousy, longing, all coded with precision because the Merovingian needed a program capable of manipulating people through romantic want. She performs the emotion flawlessly. She has never once experienced the thing underneath it. That is why she envies Neo and Trinity. She has spent centuries simulating exactly what they have for free without knowing it by accident. Rama-Kandra and Kamala built a connection nobody designed them to be capable of. Persephone was designed for nothing else and still came up empty. The gap between a program that performs love and a program that experiences it is the entire philosophical engine of this section of the trilogy. and it tells you something the architect's equations never could. You cannot engineer connection into existence. It either happens unplanned, between two things willing to risk everything for it, or it doesn't happen, no matter how perfectly you build the simulation of it. There is one question Smith could never answer. There is a third comparison the fandom almost never makes, and it's the one that completes the thesis. In Revolutions, wearing the Oracle's stolen face, Smith interrogates Neo with a question he has spent 2 entire films failing to answer about himself.
Could it be for love? Illusions, Mr. Anderson, vagaries of perception. Although only a human mind could invent something as insipid as love.
Smith says this with contempt, but listen to what the contempt is covering. Smith absorbed the Oracle. He has her foresight, her processing power, her total knowledge of human psychology. He still cannot produce, manufacture, or steal the one thing that would have given his stolen existence meaning. He calls love insipid because he has spent every waking cycle of his unplugged life searching for a reason to exist and finding nothing. And the one answer sitting directly in front of him, the answer Neo keeps choosing, is something his architecture cannot replicate, no matter how much processing power he steals. Rama-Kandra answers the exact question Smith is asking 3 scenes earlier, without bitterness, without theft, without absorbing anyone's stolen power. He built a connection from nothing because he and Kamala chose to. Smith searched the entire Matrix and found no comparable thing to steal, because love was never a resource sitting somewhere waiting to be extracted. It only exists where something chooses to risk everything for it. Smith never once made that choice. Rama-Kandra made it the moment Sati was born, and he decided not to let the system take her. The conversation Neo had with Rama-Kandra changes something in Neo, the answer. Neo gives later proves it. When Neo reaches the machine city, half blind, carrying Trinity's body, no army, nothing anyone would recognize as leverage. Deus Ex Machina, the towering intelligence governing the entire machine civilization, asks him directly what he wants.
Peace.
One word. Same register as anything. No negotiation tactic. No calculated demand. Neo is answering the exact question Rama-Kandra asked him in the train station. What would you give to hold on to the connection that matters? Except now, the connection is the entire human and machine civilization, and the price is everything he has left.
I only ask to say what I've come to say. After that, do what you want, and I won't try and stop you.
That is the offer. Not a threat, not a demonstration of power. A man telling the most powerful intelligence in the world the same kind of honest truth Rama-Kandra told him on a bench. The deal he offers next, entering Smith, letting the machines flood his body with current to erase the infection, only makes sense to someone who already decided, weeks earlier without realizing it, that anything is an acceptable price for a connection worth keeping. He learned how to think this way from a program in a train station who was trying to save his daughter. Rama-Kandra never raises his voice in their conversation. He never manipulates Neo the way the Oracle does, the way the Merovingian does. He simply tells the truth about what he's protecting and waits for Neo to recognize the same instinct in himself. It is the only completely honest conversation between a human and a machine in the entire trilogy. It is also the one that ends the war.
Then perhaps the reason you are here is not so different than the reason I am here.
Rama-Kandra said this to a blind man in a train station nobody important visits, about a war that hadn't ended yet, regarding a daughter most of the audience forgets by the credits. He was describing the peace treaty before anyone had written it. Neo didn't end the war with strategy or violence, or the prophecy he was promised. He ended it by recognizing that a machine sitting next to him on a bench wanted exactly what he wanted, to keep something he loved from being taken by a system neither of them built. Smith spent 2 films searching for that same thing and calling it insipid because he could never produce it. Persephone spent centuries performing it and calling it envy because she could never feel it. Rama-Kandra simply had it because he and Kamala chose each other and then chose their daughter, with no design specification telling them to. Anything. Peace. Same word. Same man. He just didn't know it yet.